Hello, everyone. So let's talk about this week Parashat. In the Hebrew language, slight variation of the same word can change not only the meaning of that word, but the context of an entire concept. A fascinating example of a Talmudic disagreement over a single Hebrew letter reveals a profound idea. We recite the Hamotzi blessing before eating bread. The Talmud relates debate between Rabbi Nehemiah and the rabbis regarding the appropriate wording of that blessing. Rabbi Nehemiah believed that the blessing should be Motzi lechem min haaretz. We brought forth bread from the earth. His colleagues felt that the blessing should read Hamotzi. The only difference is the addition of what Hebrew letter Hey. Why should this slight difference in the word matter? The source of this disagreement can be found in this week Torah portion. God commanded Moshe to tell the Israelis, "You will know that I am the Lord your God, and one who brings you out, Hamotzi, from under the burdens of Egypt." Why does it say who bring you out when the Israelis were still enslaved? It would seem that the future tense, who will bring you out, would have conveyed a more accurate message. From this verse, Rabbi Nehemiah understood that the word Hamotzi implies the future, that the Israelis will know their subjugation to Egypt would end, even while they were presently enslaved. He therefore argues that the blessing over bread should be recited with the word motzi in the past tense, since the wheat has already have been taken out of the earth. In contrast, the other rabbis, while agreeing that the blessing over bread should reflect the past tense, broadened the scope of the word hamotzi, implying it's a reference to the past as well as the present and future. While the rabbis debate this, the law follows the sages, and we say hamotzi, which according to them can mean past as well as present and future. We can learn from this that according to the sages, the word hamotzi in the verse referring to the exodus of the Egypt can also refer to past, present, and future. And so perhaps we can suggest a deeper insight in the exodus, in that it denotates an ongoing redemptive process. You will know that I am the Lord, your God, and the one who brings Hamotzi you from under the burdens of Egypt. Hamotzi is an attribute of God's that is ongoing. The one God of Israel continually vivifies the act of redemption, of taking us out. This broader understanding emphasizes divine providence as it transcends time. Rather than being a one-time static action, we recognize a dynamic process. Past, present, and future are synthesized, forming an ongoing redemptive process in which God is the sole source. The Hebrew word Mitzrayim, Egypt, comes from the root metzar, constriction. Just as God took us out of Egypt, he's constantly created the redemptive process that can liberate us from that which constricts and enslaves us, even today. As individuals and as nation, we strive to be liberated from the constriction that afflict us. Look around and how society has been enslaved by drugs, violence, hate, toxic beliefs. Many of us are shackled by negative thoughts, self-destructive behavior, or even just the pressure of trying to keep up with our neighbors. The Mishnah states that in every generation, one is obligated to see himself as having been taken out of Egypt. This is not just referring to the historical liberation of Hebrew slaves. Egypt represents the states of physical, mental, and spiritual constriction. A crisis or trauma can enslave or empower each of us. We can descend into despair or understand our situation. Likewise, living and maintaining the so-called good life of material pleasures that comfort can become enslaving. As we strive to strike a balance between our material and spiritual pursuits, we can recognize that life isn't about having more, but about being more. We're not just going through life, but growing through life. Our journeys have values, not merely as a means to greater end, but in and itself, what we learn along the way can help us actualize our latent potential. Everything that we're going through is teaching us something in life. Everything that we're doing is making us better. It gives us more tools to release ourselves from our own prisons. And what we need to do to know that God is everywhere. Yeah. Did you see that God is nowhere, or did you see God is now here? Recognize how much your entire outlook can be altered by your understanding of a single word, letter, or even space. Be mindful in the meanings that you attach to written and spoken words. Recognize that others might attach different meanings to the same words. Clarify before assuming that you understand them. That's why many of misunderstanding today are because people just didn't understand what we were meaning to say. The next time you eat a sandwich, take a moment to reflect on God's continual involvement in the most mundane aspects of our life. Make it food for thought. Pay attention that every single mitzvah that you do, it brings us closer to Hashem. And not only this, in everything that you do in our mundane lives, we are bringing Hashem. When we eat, when we drink, when we wake up in the morning, when we do every single thing during the day, we bring Hashem in our life. And this is the ma'ut, the meaning of being Jewish. Shabbat Shalom.